get into that in a little bit. Okay, so next step is, what did we do? We were talking about creating it. We were talking about the fact that it was a dead media. So we had to put our heads together and think, what was the next step? The next step is technology. What we're actually capable of. And it came down to YouTube, Minds.com, so on and so forth, that you can use the technology to your advantage. What we didn't have back then, as opposed to what we have now. And I came up with these ideas from working on a adult gaming program where you could create movies from 3D animations for 3D characters, or basically sex, and create games off of it. Well, I started looking around, and I was finding these terrific programs where you can do all that without the sex stuff. And then we started putting two and two together, and was like, well, between the two of us, we have a shit ton of stories and ideas and just grand schemes that we could put out there for the public. And so we did. We invested a shit ton of money into these programs.
Well, it actually, you got to back up a little bit, because when you proposed the idea to me about the 3D animation and the stories and whatnot, is kind of when you called me up one day and was like, hey, I got this idea about this show that I want to do, but I need you involved in it. And we kind of put our heads together and created a couple of characters that are going to hit the world by storm eventually. That I really don't want to give too much away on, because there's still a technology gap that we're fucking
we're
but because this has to be primo. But when you proposed this idea to me is when we sat down and we came up with the concept and the characters for this show, and it was just so engaging. And I don't know if you want to tell them anything about it.
The problem I've always had with you on this subject is that you want to keep your lips zipped, and I don't. I want to tell everybody what the fuck we're doing. We don't have to go into detail of storylines or whatnot, but I want to tell these people what we're doing. I can't.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, with that being said, throw it down.
Okay, first one he's talking about is Bounty. This TV show that we created, Bounty. What it is it's set in a serendipity universe, where spaceships and whatnot, but I'm not going to give too much detail into the actual story arc, but it's based around these two characters. Vincent McAllister, and Sean Telker. Sean Telker is the epitome of basically violence in every way, shape, and form. I'm not going to tell you why he goes to that point, but the fact is that he becomes basically like a mafioso. While Vincent McAllister is the epitome of law and order, until he also gets fucked over. We'll not tell you why, but that's what's going to happen. And these two unlikely people are going to go through this series. The depth of the characters is phenomenal. The fact that we're taking two opposites and we're somehow melding them together into one dangerous force, showing that two people can in fact make a difference. And it's violent and it's gritty, and that's who we are. We are not people who are PG-13 people. We are R and up, for the exact reason of you cannot tell a story censoring yourself.
And don't get it twisted. It's not just about the violence and the action. There is a lot of heartfelt story to this. There is going to be character growth. You're going to love to hate these guys, and you're going to hate to love these
Right.
guys.
Right.
I mean, it's you're going to be on both sides of the fence with both characters on a regular basis throughout it, and it's just this is not an easy project,
No.
which is why it is taking us so long to actually put out, because not only one, it's just two of us doing this. We are building everything from scratch, ground up. We are pulling out all the stops, and we are scripting, storyboarding, recording, animating, character building, everything. All, just the two of us. But we want everything to be spot on. And like I said before, there's a little bit of a technology gap because we're waiting on certain programs and certain finances to fall into play before we move to that route. But this is the reason that this series is not our front-running series yet. But I'm sorry.
Then we have other projects like The Fallen, which is the movie adaptation of my books. The reason for that...
If you read the book, you'll know what the fuck it is.
But we're actually going to go into more detail with that because I can. But that is based off of, we're tired of asking permission. We're tired of asking permission from other people giving us the ability to do what we need to do, what we love. Which is how all of this really started. We were tired of saying, hey, let's ask the bigwigs if we're allowed to do something. Fuck that. We're going to do it on our own. And we want the fans engaged. We want the people that are supposed nobodies who have this same motivation, this same hunger to come at us and say, this is great, but I want to help. I want to do more. I want to be a part of this. And that's what we're offering to people. We're nobodies who want to build something for nobodies. Not for them. Not for Hollywood. Not for the AAA games or anything like that. We want to directly impact indie people using indie people. And on top of all that, we've got other things in the works as well, like Coffee and Friends, which is, delves into our humor, our dark humor, which is basically a guy who has multiple personality disorder. And each show is basically how he goes through a typical day, dealing with all of his personalities. Then there's Cornbread and Grits. This is Mr. J's baby. Now let me give you.
Yeah, it's not so much my baby. It's more your baby.
I think the creation.
I have certain ideas about it that I feel really strongly about. You have certain ideas about it you feel strongly about, and we seem to keep clashing.
I think the creation
and not coming up with a full resolution.
I think the creation of it,
common ground.
The creation of it was my baby, but I think once you got a whiff of this, you just took off fucking running, and I just can't keep up with you now. Cornbread and Grits is, think of every single stereotype known to man. Now add in Stewie.
And we're gonna make fun of it.
And now add in Stewie, as that's all of your characters, is a Stewie-esque character. And we're going to make fun of every single fucking stereotype. We're going to use every one. Because I'm a white man, he's a mocha man. We are of the same mind, which is, fuck that. It's funny as hell. Let's put it out there. And we also have other things in the works that we're currently working on. But we wanted to create Warm Yogurt and Back to have filler, basically. Filler. To explain to people, to engage fans and whatnot. And we hope it reaches everybody.
To talk about nonsense.
Yeah, and it really is. It's nonsense. We want to talk about topics that have absolutely nothing to do with anything. It's not life-threatening. It's not jaw-dropping. It's not going to end the fucking world. And yet somehow we can come up...
It's probably going to end the fucking world.
Yeah. We can still come up with a way to change your mind just a little bit. Maybe save the world in the least way possible. Using nonsense as a tool. I said tool. But that, which once again, it brings us right back to Hela itself, which is we are an animation studio with multiple tiers, an LLC that will just continue to grow into a tattoo parlor, into a coffee shop, into an actual animation studio based out in the middle of nowhere. web series, gaming series. We have a dedicated programmer who is working with us for adult games, I might add. We even touch on adult games because why not? There's a market. Let's tap into it. And I basically do what I can, and then I give the rest to Mr. J, who takes off running and sells it. And we're not going to be like everybody else, where we think we're better than everybody else. We very much know that we will never exist without the fans, so we will always be directing our attention to the fans. Even if there's one of you, even if we only get $1 a month from this business that we're doing, it ain't going to happen that way, but we will engage with that one fan and say, what do you think? You got any ideas? You want to be a part of this? You want to help? Come on in. If we can afford you.
Which actually brings me to the next topic at hand, honestly, and in the growth of Hela7 development and in our growing pains. Back when we smashed our heads together and decided to come up with Hela7 development, and we decided to take the leap into the animation studio. We created a GoFundMe and a Kickstarter. Put it out there on our Facebook page and, tried to share it and this, that, and the other thing. And I think we made like $20, which we still owe somebody a book for. Sorry about that.
My brother-in-law.
I know who you are. I will send it to you, I promise. But we got little to no help or support from anybody.
And before he continues, I'm just going to chime in. This is who you were actually dealing with. You were dealing with people who have had almost no help. None whatsoever. So we are...
Everything that we have, we pulled out of pocket.
We are coming off of no one helped us, we have to help ourselves. And yet we still have this mentality that we want to help other people.
I personally want to make a difference. Yeah. Like, one of our big things, and Xavier and I have discussed this at length, actually, is giving back to our community when and if we hit big dollars. Because if we have it, why not give it? There's certain charities that we want to reach out to. There's certain causes that we want to reach out to. And, honestly, we'd be willing to do fundraisers and everything, because that's what we do. It's not just enough for us to help ourselves. If we can help other people and make that change in the world and make a difference in the world, then we're gonna fucking do
it. And I would even go a step farther. This comes back into what actual Hela7 does. We're planning on a music channel where indie music bands or people just who sit at home and synthesize music can be put up by us on our channel, and we'll promote you and things like that. And we don't want college people who went into the community, into the college, learning about computer science and all of that stuff. I mean, it sounds nice in general, but honestly, we can't afford you. And even if we could afford you, I doubt we would. We want the nobodies, the people who are self-taught. That's our way of giving back, is starting off, is straight up. We want nobodies who can help us, and we will help you in return. It's not a one-way street where we're looking to gain money off of you. I mean, we won't lie to you. We want to make money off of you. But
at the same time, you're going to make money off of us.
You're going to be tapped into an industry, a particular business that is going to have multiple facets, and you will be one small part of that, and you will benefit from all of them.
Think of it this way. If you decide to work with us, we are basically your promoters worldwide, not just the local venues. people worldwide watch YouTube. People worldwide jump on Patreon and Minds.com. It's you're going to be known. We're going to credit you. We're going to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, and we're not just talking about just your regular music. We need music in our TV shows, in our movies, that are going to be big ticket items that we want you to be a part of. I cannot make any shows or movies without any type of music in the background at some point. Or
except for this show. Because we really don't need music, because Xavier does a really piss poor bop in the backdrop.
I'm good at it. Fuck you.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, you wouldn't like me. I just lay there. But the thing that we're trying to get across is that we are a development company. We are looking to grow. We don't want to stay stagnant. In order to grow, we need people. We need people from all walks of life with all skill sets. If you're just starting out, we'll give you a chance. You fuck us over, bye-bye. But it's the nature of it. Honestly, you can't walk into something, expect to do nothing, and get by on it.
You can't go half-assed.
You can't give half promises. If you're gonna tell me you can do something, then fucking do it. If you can't do it, just be straight up. I'm not gonna be pissed off. Just tell me you can't fucking do it. I don't know how many times with musicians we've went through this, where we were told, yes, I could do this. Yes, I could do this. Yes, I could do this. And then last minute, I don't have time to do this. You know what? You could have told me that 2 fucking months ago, dickhead.
It's a sore subject for him.
And I hope you're watching. I hope you're watching, because I know you know who you are.